All right, so it was a good drive up here? Good, everything good?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to start this thing, and we're just going to chit-chat about all kinds of stuff, and then we'll just figure it all out. Did you guys have notes? Did you bring your notes up?
So I did tell her on the way up here, I was like, we probably should have brought our brochure that had all of our shows in it.
You have to go from memory, really, is what
Yeah.
you'll have to do then. And, or we always cheat sometimes when we pull up the phones right in the middle of it and go, let me just look on my phone real fast.
Right.
Yeah, that's what we were doing.
But I don't think you can go all the way back to Findlay now at this point in time
No.
and do it. So
Not happily.
Yeah. Yeah. This is Stage Door Theater Podcast hosted by a couple of regular guys, and we are very happy to have Fort Findlay Playhouse up here. Finally, I have harassed a bejesus out of you guys. I mean, I was contacting everybody I know down in Findlay because it was like a little pet project of mine because I'm from that area and I've seen several shows down there and I know some of the people obviously who perform in there. And it's one of those theater companies, kind of like the Fremont Community Theater, where it's like, well, how come I never knew about this when I was growing up in that area? And it seems like a big miss on, I blame my parents. That's all there is to it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That works.
Because you guys aren't hiding yourselves down there. You're kind of a big deal, aren't you?
It depends on who you talk to. It always amazes us. Every show, particularly like a big name show, will have people come in and be like, I've been here 20 years and I never heard you guys were here. And yet we have been there since we're at like...
And you're the only game in town, too.
Yes. A couple of years ago, they did put the Marathon Center for the Performing Arts.
Right.
So they do mainly educational theater, and then they have shows that come in.
Yeah, they're a
throughout the
roadhouse.
year.
They bring in shows and stuff that come through. Those are professional productions more so,
Yes.
not a community theater, obviously.
Yes.
So that's great, obviously, that they have that.
Yeah, and we have a really good relationship with them, and I direct some of the youth theater shows that they put on there, so it has been nice to kind of form a relationship with them. They borrow stuff from us, we borrow stuff from them.
Yeah, because they put on a summer show, too, that is a youth show, you said, right? Is that
So
what
they typically do a youth camp.
Youth camp, that's
and
what
then
it
they
is.
do a couple of youth productions throughout the school
and then
year.
they steal your guys' kids that you've been training year-round,
That's
basically,
right.
Absolutely.
I know that to be the case, because they're like, we'll do a show, and then you guys are off the side going, you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You even had one of your mothers, the mothers of one of the performers of your last show contacted me saying, hey, we going to be on your podcast?
Oh.
And I went to Kyle and he said, I've been haunting them. I've been
Yeah,
going
I
after them.
harassed. So this was your mother's, uncle's, roommate's, college, something? What was
Yes,
this?
that's exactly it.
Jeez.
That was a gal I knew from church, and they moved down to Findlay, and her daughter was in Mary Poppins.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh. Who was it? Can you recognize
No, I
this
can't
person?
name this.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I can.
Okay, let's hear it.
Jessica Nichols was the mother.
Yeah, I figured
okay.
that's who it was.
Okay,
Yeah.
you figured that's who it was?
Kara
was the-
Nichols was Jane and Mary
Jane.
Poppins.
Oh, she had a nice part. Okay.
She sure did.
She did. She did a great job.
Okay, so yeah, there's only like a couple young people in that show, and then like the brother sister, right? Am I mistaken on that show?
Yeah.
Those are the named characters. I did have a couple additional children.
You said Do you direct it?
I did direct.
Oh my
them.
gosh.
Nice.
Okay, so we should probably figure out who everybody is here. So Sam, you are what?
So currently, I am the board president
Ooh,
of
big
Fort
deal.
Findlay.
All right. I knew we got the big deals here.
Oh, not all the time.
Not
it
all the
sounds
time.
much fancier than it actually is.
Oh.
And I've been doing shows at the Playhouse for about 14 years.
Okay.
So-
And directing. Is that what you mean by doing plays, or are you in the plays?
I started out just being in them and doing some tech things. I did like set dressing and helped with costumes and all of that. And then like 2 years after I was active at the Playhouse, they talked me into running for the board. So I did that. I was the secretary for a year. And then I became the president. And I've been the president on and off for probably the past decade.
Wow, what happened? They keep not voting for you, and then you got to
I had to go to
re-campaign
nursing
again?
school during that time and get a new job and all of that
and
stuff.
how do you know Nicole Farkasty?
So her son
Uh-huh.
was in at least one show with me.
Yeah.
But he's been in shows that I've produced.
So I am. This is
that.
how hardcore I was trying to get Fort Findlay on. I did the proper thing, the polite thing. I write an email to him, and it has all my fancy words and stuff, and then the nothing, and then I call and I'm like and I don't say nothing. I got a response, but then it just kind of fizzled away. So then I cheated, and I got a hold of my sister Nicole, and I said, Nicole, who lives in Findlay, whose son did step down. I said, Nicole, who do I need to get a hold of? And she said, oh, I know somebody. Bam. That's how I got Sam's contact information, and then harassed her. And actually sent her friend request, actually told my sister, could you tell her a weirdo is going to message her? And
she did. She did tell me that.
You used your family to get
listen,
this?
like I said, I have a personal investment on getting this particular theater company on because I think they needed to be on. You guys are doing some really cool stuff down there. I've seen your shows. You do some things, and it's like, hello, I need Findlay on. They're doing. I need them on. So.
Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, shush. Now you do. No, I'm just kidding.
So what does Aeryn do?
Yeah, Aeryn, what do you do down there?
So I've been a part of Fort Findlay Playhouse for about the last 12 years since I've been in Ohio.
Good.
And I have been in shows. I've been able to music direct. I've served on the board, done costuming, props. So
Everything.
a little bit of
a little
design.
bit of everything.
Yeah.
So what are you currently? I'm sorry.
So currently, I am just a member of the Playhouse.
There you go.
No, I'm music. I'm like, what am I doing right now?
You're on a podcast.
She just
right?
came off of our board this year.
Like a month ago. So I am music directing Hello Dolly right now, and I will be directing and music directing Titanic in the spring.
Oh, you're doing Titanic down there. Okay, see, so now we're talking. So now we're going to talk about like some of the great shows you guys have done in the past, and for just the idea of like what you guys are doing down there. So who are you guys? Obviously, other than you're the community theater company for the area, but you guys have been around for like obviously more than 12 years.
No, we've been in the same building that we're serving in. I want to say it's since 1956.
Wow.
I think is the year.
Before Tom was born.
That's a long time ago.
It was either that or
I think it's 65.
65. I was going to say I might be having a dyslexic
shit.
moment now that I'm doing the
No.
subtraction. So, okay. So 1965. So we've been there for a long, long time, and they actually existed prior to that under a previous name.
Oh.
So it's got a long history. So there's really no excuse that you didn't come see a show when you were a kid.
My bad parents. That's all it is.
So we've been there, and we produce 5 shows as part of our standard season. And then we can have typically we do 1 to 2 second stage shows, which are not included in our season package.
What's that? What's a second stage show?
So a second stage show can be all sorts of things. It can be something that maybe is not going to appeal to our patronship as far as our packages, or it might be something that we just really want to do as actors or as directors that just isn't like necessarily a general public typical.
Yeah,
An example?
Not a big blockbuster show.
What's an
basically.
example of one
Probably
of those?
our biggest budget that we used for a second stage show would be Avenue Q.
What?
So it was fantastic to do, but it was not necessarily one that we thought our patronship was going to enjoy.
When was
However, all of our
I'm a little annoyed. When was this?
because you can.
It was when I started my job.
14
so it's
years
been
ago?
9 years.
Yeah.
Do it again. It's
9
enough
years.
time span. I want to see it.
Got one more year. We typically do them every 10 years is when we
But you
kind
can
of
make
allow
an
them to come
exception
up.
for me, right? You're gonna come on, man.
We had a
I
great
hopefully-
time doing Avenue Q.
I'm just, oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So Avenue Q. We've also done, I love to do like rarely seen works or less known works. So we also did A Minister's Wife, which is a fantastic chamber musical. But people don't know it. So we get to kind of do those kind of pieces. This year, our second stage shows are a one-man show called An Ingenious Life. It's about Ben Franklin.
Okay.
And we also have one that was written by a local playwright, which is called Finding Home. So we also get to feature some local talent with our second
Very
stage
cool.
show.
You guys actually do that kind of stuff too, featuring
absolutely.
local playwrights doing. That's very cool. How do people submit stuff to you, or do you ask for submissions, or do they just come up to you randomly?
It kind of comes in all directions.
Okay.
Typically, if it's an original work, the author will present it or ask the play reading committee, that's who selects our seasons, to read the show. Aeryn and I have actually been a part of reading an original play that had never been read out loud before.
Nice.
And we
very
produced
cool.
that a couple years ago. This current show that we're doing this season, Finding Home, is from a local kid that went to Findlay High School. He moved away for a little bit. He's moved back into town.
He's not a kid anymore.
No,
I know.
he's not a kid.
He's a kid because he's younger. He's like 3 years younger than me, but he's a kid to me.
Just a child. Yes.
But he asked us to consider doing a reading of his script. So we did that at his house, and I thought it was really interesting. It deals with a lot of mental health and family dynamics and all of those types of things that I think people need to see sometimes.
Yeah.
So we included
This is great.
that.
Yeah, you're gonna have this original show that was created by a local person. So you're encouraging the writing, and then you're gonna encourage people in the acting community who have never done a show before, have never done this show obviously before. You can't cheat. They can't go out and see the YouTube clips of this and copy anybody. This is it, baby. So they're gonna have to stretch their acting muscles as well. And wow, you guys are
and we've used Second Stage as kind of a tool to train actors that maybe don't have a lot of experience or directors that don't have a lot of directorial experience. A couple of years ago, we did a night of one acts, which was essentially 4 one-act plays, and it was for people that had never directed before, and they had actors in their shows that really had not been on stage a ton or had maybe been in one show, but they got the opportunity to work really largely on a show on the stage.
Wow,
so
that'd be
very
tough,
cool.
though. I think if I was doing a show directing for the first time, I would want the people who have done a million shows, to help me.
I think that there's like value in that. And then I also think that it's sometimes nice to have people that really think you're amazing as a director instead of people that have directed and done a million other things. It could be intimidating
that are too. You're right. Because if my first time directing is Paul Cosman, not going to be good. He's going to think I suck so hard that I can't have him. He'll intimidate me.
By having no experience, you open up. It's unlimited to what you can possibly do at this point.
And you don't while we like collaborative and you like that to a certain extent, for a new director that can be challenging sometimes.
Right, good point.
So sometimes it's good to not have someone saying, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we do
you're
that?
Wrong.
Yeah.
What is this, your first time doing this? Oh, yeah, you don't need that probably, all right?
Yeah. I think we do a really nice job of the mentorship process too. If you get a Second Stage show and you've never done something before, or maybe you've only done one thing, or you've only done a straight show and this is your first musical, you're assigned a mentor director who doesn't tell you what to do, but kind of comes alongside and occasionally pulls you aside and says, hey, did you think about this?
Oh, okay.
I noticed that you're having a problem getting your cast to do that, like all of those pieces. And so we did that with the one acts too, particularly because they all had to share one stage. So we had to talk about, like, how do you create a set design when you all have to agree on what
So do people
is.
just like message you and say, hey, I'd love to be a director. I'd love to do these things. And you guys are just open to that?
So kind of, sort of.
Oh, okay.
So she mentioned that the play reading
Tom
committee.
wants to be a director. So
I
if
want
he
to
wants
direct.
to
Ready
direct,
and go.
Yeah. So
Okay.
if Tom wanted to
I
be a
just
director,
directed.
how would he become one with you guys?
So each season, the play reading committee will put out on our Facebook page. The best thing to do is follow us on Facebook because that's where everything is. And we'll put out a call. Typically, most of us that get selected for that role, it hasn't been selected this year that I know of, we'll put out some sort of survey or something, kind of garnering those pieces. Sometimes it'll be before we've decided what plays we're going to do. Sometimes it will be, these are the shows we're going to do. If you're interested in directing, let us know. It all really kind of depends on who is the committee chair that year.
Okay. So
just to let you know, I don't want to be.
Darn it, I was putting it in.
But I would like to direct Avenue Q. So if that's
There you
coming
go.
sometime, I would love to be that one. I mean,
So typically, if someone submits to direct and we've never heard of them before, or we have heard of them before but they've never directed, they will be an assistant director with someone who has directed at our theater before.
So I got to do another one before I could be the director for Avenue Q and be like, no, that I said be a little bit racist, not all the way racist.
That's right.
Kind of thing? Okay. All
So
right.
where do you get most of your people from, though? The Findlay area? Which would make
I would say a lot of our core is right in the Findlay area, but we have people that travel in from, right now we have someone from, is she in Kenton?
Yeah, we have a couple of people from
I don't
that
even know where that
area.
is. Where's Kenton?
Tiffin and
It's like 30 miles
Not far
away
from
from
Ada.
Findlay.
Oh, is it? Okay. It's closer to
Yeah.
Ada? Okay.
every
But,
once in a while we'll
Tiffin-
be able to pull one of our people that has moved away that travels quite a a bit to come because they love being a part of the show. But for the most part, it's usually.
Well, you got somebody
Findlay
going
area.
from Toledo or Waterville, or where's your friend from, Tom?
Well, they used to live up in Waterville, but they moved down to Findlay.
Oh, okay. Well,
So-
that's great, though,
but
because
that's
then they
how
were
we
able
knew
to go
about it,
from
right.
Waterville Play Shop and 3B Productions out there into
She was
another great place.
Fairly
to-
young. I don't know if she actually performed up here
I
beforehand.
don't know either. But that's the other nice thing about particularly theater in this part of Ohio is like I have directed for Perrysburg Musical Theater
Oh, nice.
Company, and I know Joe at 3B.
What'd you direct at Perrysburg? Maybe that's where I
So
saw you.
I have directed 3 shows for them. I
Oh.
did The Bridges of Madison County
Okay.
prior to the pandemic. I did Hello Dolly, which we're
Okay.
doing this year at Fort Findlay. And then I just this winter directed Bright Star for them.
There is no
Wait a
chance
minute.
in the world that's not where I know you from. then.
Really?
So come on, you did Bright Star.
I
I
did.
had to have seen you there then. Okay,
I did do
And
Bright
did you
Star.
hear today's episode that just dropped? It was Emma Skaggs.
Skaggs.
No.
She sat there
Oh, we love her.
3
Did
days
she-
ago. 2
Yeah.
days ago?
Emma's a great kid.
Yeah, 2 days ago. Yeah. Well, look at that. Okay, so you guys are actually doing more than I thought, obviously, already. You're not only just putting on the shows, but it sounds as though you are nurturing from a very young age, obviously, the younger people, because you have some youth shows, right?
So we don't actually do youth only shows
Okay.
at Fort Findlay Playhouse anymore. They have years and years ago, but we kind of work together
Bring 'em
with the
back.
youth theater shows.
Bring them back.
So
We
Nurture.
have considered
Yeah.
doing, and this is something Aeryn and I are very passionate about.
Can you tell I am too? Bring 'em back.
Yeah, right? Is doing like audition prep and doing a
master classy
whole
kind of things.
type of experience for the kids in our area, just to learn about not even being on stage, but doing costumes and doing set dressing and doing all of those different
Yeah.
things and really preparing them to audition for not only us, but being able to audition for other theater companies,
Yeah,
knowing
yeah.
what that process is like, making sure that you introduce yourself, thank the people that you're with, being kind to people.
Oh my
doing
gosh, I need
all
to
those
take your
different
class.
things. I need to take my own class
this-
sometimes.
Absolutely.
Do you know what this means, Kyle?
I will never get a part.
Well, that's beside that. we just had our first playbill signed by an actor of a show that we had the
go get
playbill.
the playbill,
and we
Tom.
have
Let's
the
get it signed
playbill. We
by
had
the
Emma
director
sign
now,
it, and now
too.
we have the director sign the playbill
Well,
for our
and
second autograph.
Aeryn was also in Bright Star.
We only have 3 of them.
Yeah, I was the older Alice.
Well, look at this.
So
Well, he'll have both
I'm
Alice's.
dying here.
Yes.
This is okay. See, this is a smaller and smaller world all the time. Okay.
Yes.
this
yeah.
is-
That's
So I'm a big fan of the youth theater and nurturing and bringing that all up and getting and basically you recruit yourself into these kids that you're going to have for all your other shows. So and plus the fact that like you said, you just did Mary Poppins.
Yep.
And that doesn't have a lot of big parts for younger people, so you don't want to lose them. You want to keep
Right.
them here, keep them going as long as you can, obviously. And
For
when,
sure.
when you have a show that's 8th grade or younger or whatever, then they get to be Belle in Beauty and the
Yes.
Beast
Yep.
and don't have to be just a little villager girl.
Right.
That kind of thing. So, I mean, that's just me pitching for you guys. Boom, boom, boom.
we have
to
a
try.
pretty packed calendar.
Yeah,
with,
also, I know
7
it's a huge
shows a year.
responsibility for somebody to take that on, obviously, as well, because you're talking about a youth theater that if you did introduce it, will have 200 kids go out for it.
Right,
And
yes.
that's
Yeah,
that's
I
a
think-
big deal, too.
The youth theater, you guys have typically 700 kids that come out for
Oh,
it.
my gosh.
We have so it depends on the show.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm pitching it, but I don't want any responsibility. Of it.
Right.
So that's how, yeah.
You're talking to the 2 people that are probably the most passionate about it at
it's
the
like I want to
Playhouse,
do
so-
dog, but I don't want to pick up the stuff in the yard. I just
Right.
want the dog. That's
right.
So
But
it's a great thing down there that you guys going on now. So one of the my favorite shows that you guys did down there, which Joel Farkasty was in, which is why it was
Yes.
kind of more of my earlier ones that I was introduced in, was Christmas Story, the musical. Did not know that was a musical.
Yes.
And I gotta say, it's my favorite way to tell that story. Is a musical version of it.
Yeah,
So,
it's such a great show.
yeah. And you guys do you guys do holiday specific stuff down there all the time, or what is your season? Should we ask that? Like, do you know what
Sure.
your season is off top?
We
of your head?
do.
All
We
right,
do.
let's hear this.
so we are starting out with Hello Dolly.
Okay, a crowd pleaser.
Yes. And then we have a second stage show,
Okay.
the one that Aeryn was talking about, An Ingenious Life. It's
Mm-hmm.
the story of Ben Franklin. And then we have a play called
Out of
Out
Order.
of Order.
Out of Order,
That's
okay.
that's my favorite show that we're presenting this season.
Okay.
And I can never remember the name of it.
Has Hello Dolly tickets gone on sale yet?
No.
Okay, but
No.
when they go on sale, people need to jump on it because
Yes,
from my understanding
Right.
of Tom,
It's not a large theater.
It's
Right.
not a large
And
theater.
the one day I wanted to go down to Mary Poppins, I went and looked, and I'm like, ooh, that was sold out.
yes.
We have a
That was the one
very
that could.
strong patron base.
Yeah, you guys do.
A very strong patron base. We're very lucky and blessed in that way.
Yeah, my sister told me specifically when it's like, I'll get you your tickets when they
Yeah.
come out immediately because you're not going to get them. Because
Yeah.
you guys, it is a smaller theater, but it is also, you guys do have a good
And now
following,
that we
obviously.
have all of our tickets available online,
Oh, boy.
like when we did Miracle on 34th Street,
Oh,
tickets
nice.
went live at midnight. By 2 a.m., I was down to only 15% of tickets available.
Oh, my gosh.
And by, I think, noon, they
By
had
the
sold
time our
out.
box
You sold out
office
in
opened.
less than like
12
half a
hours.
day?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yes.
You
And
gotta
that's-
you gotta have more shows.
That was an 8-show
8 shows?
thing. So we're a theater that seats 110, and that was 8 shows.
Okay, it's a 110 person theater.
Yeah.
So that
Yes.
was one thing I did tell Tom when he was going to look into buying tickets. I said there are no bad seats.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, there are no bad seats. Don't worry about it. Just get a ticket.
Yes.
Yep. My personal insider tip is row B is my least favorite row.
Okay.
But apart from that, you can't go
Why
wrong.
is that? What's wrong with that?
We have 2 rows that are on the same level.
Uh-huh.
So if you
Oh.
are somebody who kind of gets annoyed when the person in front of you moves their head and is in front
Yes.
of
Oh
you,
my goodness.
that's not the row you want to be in if
Gotcha.
possible.
If
But
you're
other than that, you're good.
5'4" or lower, then you get a different row.
Yep.
I can guarantee I'm going to get the seat with the little kid kicking behind
And
me.
I can guarantee that
I get
I'll
on
get
the
the
plane, I get
6 foot
on
tall
the
guy
top.
in front of me. So
You
it's
should
a-
always sit in F1.
F1?
It is the best seat in our house, in my opinion.
Oh.
Oh, absolutely.
You can remember
well,
that? F1.
It only
except
goes
for
to
when
row
I
G.
direct, then I get like really like I tell people I'm going to put you in the middle because
Yeah.
I want you to see everything.
Yeah. But the stage isn't big. You can see everything.
The
Are we
stage
supposed
is
to be
really
asking why
wide.
F1?
Yeah.
F1. So first of all, it's an end seat, which I love.
Oh.
And there's also not a seat in front of you, so you can like stretch your legs out. It's a great seat.
That is nice.
Great
End
seat.
seat, and you can stretch your legs out. But I was very curious to see how you were gonna stage the shows because it isn't a big stage. And I'm like, okay, well, how are they gonna do Mary Poppins on this stage, or how are they gonna do A Christmas Story musical on this stage? And I was very
Yeah, we use every
very
inch of
pleased
it.
with what I saw.
It's only just over 16 feet deep
Mm.
from edge of the stage to the back wall. Like
and
there's
I was on
nothing
row
behind
A
it.
too.
So you could reach out and touch us.
Right there. For real, they get in their car in A Christmas Story, and he's like, I'm like, should I be staring right at him? I mean, maybe I'll look off to the side.
Bring a catcher's mitt.
Oh,
just in
right.
case.
Right there, just right there. Any minute now, he's going to hit those bolts, and they're going to land on me when he's changing the tire. I'm like, this
Yeah,
is great.
no, I was just in Savannah Sipping Society not that long ago, and in one of the rehearsals, there's a moment where, not rehearsals, one of the performances, there's a moment where the table gets slammed, and my water ball went flying and hit this
Awesome.
person in the front row, and I was like,
Live theater, baby.
Sorry.
Can you
I
give
know
that
her,
to me?
so
I
it's
need that.
okay.
Yeah, pass that back up. I'm a little thirsty. I like that. That's cool. So, Hello Dolly, 2 plays you just named were
Yes.
Ben Franklin and Ingenious Life, and then Out of Order.
out of order.
You know what's
Since
next?
you have them pulled up on your phone, you might as well read them.
Yeah.
We're actually doing a live radio
Not a
play.
test, Sam.
of-
We're just gonna...
we're actually doing a live radio play of It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay, cool.
So we're excited for that. It's going to be very cool.
And
with all
that'll
the
sell
sound
out in 2
pieces.
seconds, so
Yes.
better
Yep.
get that because that's a holiday show.
Absolutely. Finding Home, which is the second stage show that she spoke to
Okay.
earlier today.
With the
and-
kid who wrote that show?
Yes.
Who's 30 probably. What is
He's
it?
31, I
Yeah,
think.
so
What's his name? Do you know out there?
Tim Frost.
I like to give people credit here. Tim
Absolutely.
Frost. There we go.
and then we're going to do Weekend Comedy.
Don't
which
know
is
that
another
one.
play.
Oh, okay, that's why I don't know. Okay.
It is from one of the writers from Saved by the Bell. Very funny. It's
Oh,
a
wow.
4-person cast. It's
Interesting.
very funny, lighthearted. It'll be fun for our audience.
Is
I
it
think.
mixed ages, young ages?
Yes. So these 2 couples, one of like a parent age and one of a young adult age, rent the same cabin for the weekend. So they end up like double booking this cabin, and it's just very funny.
Cool. I'm going to tell you right now, I want to talk to somebody from these plays.
Okay.
So one of these directors, these stars, these kind of things, because Tom, do you know any of these shows?
So now that Kyle knows you, he's going to be hounding
Right?
you even
He's
more.
going to be like, can you get me somebody else?
No, I like you guys. I want you guys. And you guys and one other person, I guess. But these plays, we're not as familiar with the plays. You heard of any of these plays?
Not at this point, no.
Right. See, so it's like, those are good to have people come on,
Yep.
especially and talk about, like, what is this show? We don't know what this show is. So I would love to find a way to keep you coming back.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And that's a good way to say, hey, come back. Because, like, Hello Dolly, people know that
Yes.
way more. So if I'm going to have you guys come up and talk, I want to have something cool to talk about, I guess. More cooler. I don't want to say Hello
Yes.
Dolly isn't cool. But continue. Sorry.
Sorry, and we're going to close out our season with Titanic, the musical.
Titanic. Love it.
We are already extending that run. Typically, our musicals run for 12 shows. We are adding 2 additional shows.
12 shows. You have 12 shows to see this performance. So what is that? Is that 3 weekends? Is that a whole
Yep.
month?
So it'll be 3 weekends typically.
Wow.
And now this one will do 14 shows in 3 weekends.
I can't tell you how much I love. I can't tell you how much I love when theater companies do multiple weekends. Because then it
Yes.
really does open it up for no excuses.
Yep.
No excuses if you didn't really want to come see the show, did you?
I think it
'Cause,
also helps with ticket sales. Not that we struggle with that often.
No.
But in shows in the past, when we have struggled for like our first weekend of sales, we do that first weekend. People come see it, and
then
they
on Monday
love the
we
show.
sell out.
And then the second weekend sells very well. So
Because word gets out, right? Word gets out. Oh my
Exactly.
God, you got to go see the show. I mean,
So what's your audition process? Do you have the Hello Dolly people already?
Yes,
Okay,
I'm
so-
actually in the cast for Hello Dolly.
Oh.
And like Aeryn said, she's music directing that show.
So let's go to the next
wait,
show.
are you
then.
directing and in the cast?
No.
Oh, I thought you were Ron Howard it over there. I wasn't
I am
sure.
not.
Sheesh.
I am not. I've never been in a show that I've directed before.
Okay,
So
that's good.
Not on purpose, anyways. So.
Not on purpose.
Right.
It's a lot of work. I was just curious. Not on purpose. So it's like you have, but it's just not on purpose.
If someone's gotten ill or what
Uh-huh.
have you, you always like throw that around and
Mm-hmm.
who's going to replace them and that kind of thing. And the director's name always gets tossed in there if it's appropriate. I usually try to get out of it.
all the
but,
time. I mean, you do know the part, so
Right.
Typically should know the blocking. All those
typically
pieces.
should know. Should know.
All right, I'm going back to the tryouts here.
Yeah, sorry, the audition process.
So that the auditions, at least the process, typically depends on the directorial staff. We kind of have like our typical process for musicals. You bring in a song that you know. Usually they ask for up to a minute of a song that's not from the show necessarily, but is in the same style as the show. And you sing your song. Then typically they'll do like a dance section from the show. The choreographer will teach like a small section of choreography. Everyone will get up there together and all do the dance. And then typically we do cold reads from the script.
Keep it friendly, keep it light,
Yeah.
not too stressful. I hope. You know.
It makes sense not to do the same song because you're going to get 30 versions of people or whatever
Yeah,
the
yeah,
big
absolutely.
Hello Dolly
Yes.
is.
But I think, one of the things to point out is that we typically do open auditions. So when you are singing your song, all the other auditioners will be with you.
Oh,
Many
sweet.
of the theaters up this way tend to do closed auditions where you're going into a room by yourself. And it's kind of nice because I remind everybody, I'm like, really everybody in the audience just wants you to do your best
Right.
in that. And so there's people, and we've had individuals that have like been like, this is the first time I've ever sung in front of anyone. And they'll say that, and we'll all just kind of smile. And sometimes we'll even hum along to kind of help them along when necessary. But it's a really
Do
great
you have a reason for that? Why
collaborative
do you do it
piece.
like that?
I think it sets us up too because we do the readings the same day. So we can play each other, people off of each other. You might get to read a scene and be Dolly at one point and then be Minnie Faye in the same scene in a moment against a different set of actors. So we get to kind of play with the chemistry, see if you can take some feedback, see if how
Interesting.
everybody
So yeah,
works
but the
together.
singing part, like everybody gets up there. I mean, there are some times up here too where it has done in the area where they say, "Hey, this is the real deal." Especially callbacks. Obviously, when you do
Yeah.
callbacks, it's like we're singing in
Right.
front of everybody anyway.
We don't
Yeah.
typically do callbacks, so
Oh.
we have 2 nights of rehearsals. You can come both nights. You're not required to come both nights, but typically after that, they're making decisions.
For an audition, 2 nights of audition. So you it's okay to come back twice? Mm-hmm. Interesting. Why would somebody come back another night? Out of curiosity. Doesn't get all their stuff in? Or?
Well, like you might get, for myself, I am a moderate mover, not a dancer.
Moderate mover.
I'm not even going to call myself a strong mover.
What did Emma call herself on the last episode? I'm a heavy mover or a good mover? Something like that. Yeah, but you're a moderate mover.
Emma is a talented dancer.
She's a very talented dancer. But I do 2 nights for musicals because then I can go home and I can show them that I'm going to learn it. It just might not be in the 5 minutes that you're teaching it. Okay. Other times it's so that you can read against the people that came the next night in case there's somebody that they wanted to see what your chemistry would be. Let's say you were going to play a romantic lead against somebody else. They want to see how you would sound together.
Very cool. Okay, so. That's definitely unique. I've never heard of the 2 coming back both nights time.
And it's not required.
No.
If someone's only able to make it to 1 night, it's not going to count against them or anything. No. It's just nice as a director to be able to see kind of the full package.
It's nice as a performer instead of having that 30 seconds to show yourself. Now you have a couple nights to even show really what you can do.
And you may not be read very often the second night if a whole bunch of new people came back the next night. And we typically don't have people sing the second night.
Anybody get up in the middle in this open call, everybody sings like, well, heck with this. I'm not going to get smart and storm out. Like, oh, never mind.
That's always the worst when it happmes, but it's not very often.
Oh my gosh, it has happened. I didn't think anybody would actually do that.
Usually they don't throw a fit. They come up to you and say, "This is not. I can't do this." And it's you. I have found that it's usually like the teens that come and they're very excited to be there, and they get emotional as they're sitting there waiting to audition, and their nerves just get the best of them.
They just let it get in their head too much, and then they hear Samantha go up and sing about some song, and it's like, why am I even here? I made a huge mistake.
I could try out for the character, what's his name, Edgar Bean?
Edgar Bean in Titanic. Yeah, you could.
The only reason is because Ron, our third guy, sat in my office. We had our editing suite, and he played this character, and I heard it every day.
Yes, you could.
I could also be Laser Wolf and Fiddler on the Roof.
There you go.
Because I know the whole thing because he sang it all the time.
All right. So, love that. You guys have a billboard in the city, too, of somebody who went on and did some pretty big deal thing on Broadway.
Yes, Gavin Creel.
Gavin Creel is out there doing some pretty cool stuff. Last I heard, and he's probably moved on way then because it's been a while, he was like the main guy on the national tour of Book of Mormon.
He was.
Elder, whatever his name is, Price, I think. Yeah.
But currently, he is in Into the Woods.
Yeah. Where?
On tour.
On tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of a big... I'm going to say it again. I've said it like 4 times. That was a big deal.
He is. He's a big deal, and he's great.
And honestly, so we have performed with people that have either went to high school with him or have done stuff with him, and really the blanket statement that I hear about him, I personally have never met him before, but that he was just the nicest guy in high school. He is the nicest human to deal with even now.
But he's not the only one from the Findlay area, though, that has done stuff and is working in the industry and doing things. So I think that's another testament to what's going on down there in Findlay in the high school programs and what you guys are doing. I don't know, maybe when did Marathon move in? Maybe a little bit of Marathon thrown in there. But it's just that you guys have a system in there that's creating people that are pretty darn good. And at least allowing them to have an outlet to do it.
And they're very passionate about it as well, which helps.
And I think that it speaks to the community's acceptance and support of the arts.
Absolutely.
Multi-generationally, when we look at our patrons, we have individuals that give to us each year who are like, this is important. They've supported things like Youth Symphony at one point and some other things. So it's really a great community to just be able to go and kind of express
the high school has this award-winning show choir group too, and they were just on our news program a little while ago on WTL11's news, and then they have a specialized band that's at the high school. It's like you guys have a very, very thick love of the arts down there, and I love that you guys have it.
And People's not that far from Toledo. It's really not.
Oh, I go all
it's
the
a quick
time.
shut down 75.
Not enough. I should go visit my sister.
Your biggest problem is trying to get the tickets.
Yes.
Right.
When the show's announced, get your butts on their website and get those tickets. So.
And if you're going to travel down, we have as many restaurants as you could possibly want.
No
you guys have good stuff.
Lots of great places to eat.
What do you recommend?
What kind of food do you
no,
want?
no. Just what's your place?
So
Something with hard liquor. That's what I want. Where's that at?
So people love Logan's.
Logan's.
It's an Irish pub that's downtown.
Right.
Findlay Brewing Company, if you're into like pale ales and so forth, they make their own beers and it's fantastic.
That's where one of the original Culvers in Ohio was.
Was it really?
Yeah.
We do have a Culver's right off 75.
Right off 75.
And their milkshakes are killer. Killer.
And we also have Dietz's if you're not coming for a full meal,
right.
but you just want dessert.
Not
Dietz's
the barbecue. Okay,
No.
sorry.
No,
Okay.
Dietz's chocolates and ice cream.
Okay, we got a Dietz barbecue up here, so that got me excited. But also, I've eaten the Dietz place you're talking about too, the ice cream and candy place.
It's so good.
Yes.
And it's very close to the theater.
I love Rosilli's and the Bistro are also great options as well.
All right.
So to follow you guys, make sure when tickets are coming out, I go to what?
The best place is our Facebook page for Fort Findlay Playhouse, but you can also go to fortfindlayplayhouse.org.
Okay.
And that's probably where you get tickets too, right?
Yep.
Yes, and we don't have any fees or anything like that on our tickets if you buy them online. So our ticket price, if you show up at the door, is $15. If you go online to buy them, it's $15. So there's not like $5
processing,
of
whatever thing.
Yeah, when we made the decision to use that system, we kind of decided as a board that we would kind of eat that credit card fee and all of that, just to make it easier. And we kind of wanted to encourage people to order online just because we are all volunteers and we could cut down on our box office hours by doing that. And it was a smart move for us, I think.
Cool. Absolutely.
What else exciting things happening down there? Anything else? I don't want to leave anything out.
I don't know.
Who are you guys? Well, you guys are just amazing. We've covered all that, right?
Yeah.
We have. I mean, we have a great season coming up. I would just really encourage people to check out a show. I think people are always amazed because they see the outside of our building and it's so small. But then they come in and we, in my opinion, do pretty strong productions and the production value is good. And we really, truly do use like every inch of our space. Probably the largest example of that this season is going to be Titanic. I had the opportunity to be in Titanic when we did it 10 years ago, and it was the most amazing experience, and it's stuff that our audience still talks about now. So I would really encourage you to check out any of our shows, including Titanic.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is to come be a part of anything, whatever your piece is. So we have set builds almost every Saturday from 10 to 2, and we could use people of all skill level. We have small little ones and older ones that are like, I've never used a power tool. And we're like, cool, we'll show you. And so we get that part. Lots of people come and help us out with the costumings or the painting or whatever. And then if you even want to be part of learning about what it's like, what it takes to run a theater, our board meets twice a month, and those are open to everyone as well.
Oh. See, now I enjoy the big theater shows and I enjoy the small theater shows. And I like the intimacy that your theater has. It's a black box, basically, in my mind. You're just all right there on top of each other. You're all just in the moment. And that was very appealing to me when I saw the shows there. So,
and I think that's important to a lot of our audience. We have toyed around with the idea of moving to a different building and getting a building that we could do bigger and better and in our mind better. What do you want to call that?
Yeah.
But,
so, I mean, they're not really better just because they're bigger. They're just different.
kind of have more resources sometimes. But we're amazing. We have amazing tech crews that are really great at thinking outside of the box and making things happen when the director wants it to happen. And our audience, when we were thinking about relocating, they're like, no. Like, we like to be in this space. We like to be able to see the actors' faces. And we like to be able to see all of that stuff. And I do think that that's kind of what sets us apart a little bit from other theater groups in the area is we really do have a very intimate space for our audience to be able to see the shows.
Which I think one of the funniest things about being in our space is because we are so close to the audience. Folks, we can hear you. So we have people that will whisper and we can kind of hear them. That's great. And then we have some people that are always a little bit more vocal.
Have no idea how loud they are. Yeah.
And so I got to play Polly Wyeth in Other Desert Cities a couple of years ago. And first I had someone who was like, what up, bleep? Oh. And I was like, oh, well, it's working.
Yeah.
But also someone figured out the twist. like right before my character gets to say it, and she goes, and then said it, and I was like, well, thanks.
Is that when you threw the water bottle at him?
It wasn't. That was a different show.
Yeah, watch it. Water bottles may be coming from the stage at you if you talk too dang much during.
No, only if you're answering your phone.
You can't move. You'd lose seat F1.
Right.
All right. Everybody needs to make sure they go to Findlay shows, get on their Facebook page, see what they're doing, because they're doing a lot of amazing things, it sounds like, and the tickets are going to sell out really quick.
For sure.
So
Absolutely.
Get there and go watch them, guys. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Yes,
thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Hey, if you guys like the Stage Door podcast, could you guys just go on to Apple and say you like it? Hit some 5 stars, hit some reviews. It helps bump us up. So this is me just saying, please do that. Thank you. Bye.
I was going to say, should I do that too?
Yes, you should. Everybody should. That's why I do it.
You can't leave it. You have to sign up our program.
Yeah.